And now, stars, cars, guitars. With singer and international heartthrob Tony Hadley, legendary rock guitarist Jim Cregan, and our pilot of the airwaves, Alex Dyke. Stars, cars, guitars, the podcast. Coming up.
Imagine that, Tony Hadley and Arthur Daley's Daimler.
I like it.
It couldn't make it up.
No.
It's like London, it's kind of that. It was a crazy, crazy show. I loved it, absolutely loved it.
I thought it was a great show. It was brilliant. And I'm very excited that I'm going to get a chance to get in one of those cars, I hope.
Yeah.
And if we could just get Tony to look the other way, we'll have it off down the road.
And in the end, I lost it. I don't lose it very often, but when I do, you know. And I went, listen, I'm not singing today, that's it.
Stars, cars, guitars.
OK, so Tony and Jim have only been given a sat-nav destination for today's adventure. What they don't know is that we're off to meet two cars that were TV stars. A lovely white Mark II Capri and a Portland beige Daimler Sovereign. Now, these were the cars driven by two of my TV heroes, Arthur Daley and Terry McCann. And they used these chariots to smoke around London to destinations like hidden lockups, dodgy second-hand car lots, and, of course, stopping off at the Winchester Club to see Dave the barman for a Swift half and a VAT. So, George Cole, Arthur Daley, lovable rogue, and Dennis Waterman, Terry McCann, likeable scallywag. I salute you. I'm so excited about this.
Stars, cars, guitars.
Guys, look at this. Direct from the Sweeney, a classic Ford Granada.
Is it from the Sweeney?
Was this actually in it?
Well, it's from the era. It's a
the era,
1976.
It's a gold Granada gear. My mate, my best pal, Pete Hillier, he had one of these, and I was so jealous. You know, I told you I had the Vauxhall Viva with the big red stripe.
Yeah.
He had one of these, and I was really insanely jealous because these cars, not only were they comfortable and everything, but they really motored. Brilliant car. Yeah. And also, it's a great colour.
It's not gold, is it?
It looks kind of...
You
did.
I didn't.
Gold to me.
So, are you impressed, James?
Yeah, I like it. I'm not, it would be nice if it was an original from the movie. That would, from the film rather, or for the film.
TV series.
It's film of the TV series of my leg.
Make a film of them.
Actually, they did. You're right. They made two Sweeney movies. I take that back.
See, I know my facts. I know what I'm talking about.
So, would you like to see something original? Come with me over here. Ta-da! It's like Thunderbird.
Okay.
Don't look yet, Tone.
Tell us when to look round.
Take a look.
Wow, my goodness. Oh,
Wow.
So from the ITV Minder series, which started in 1979, we have Arthur Daley. Actor George Cole played Arthur Daley. There's his Daimler cardboard cutout behind. And over here we have Dennis Waterman. Now, he played Terry McCann, and that is his famous Mark II Capri.
These cars, I have to say, are in beautiful condition. I mean, that, for me, that is, I love that. But the Capri as well. And funny enough, when we did, do you remember Communication? We did a song called Communication. We had a 3-litre Capri that we drove down St George's Docks, down Docklands and stuff. And I actually managed to smash it up. I was allowed to smash it up. 3-litre Capri. Great car. These cars are fetching so much money these days.
Yeah, I wish I had one.
These cars are celebrities, Jim.
Yes, they are. And they're very beautiful. And I'm hoping that later on I can take it down the pub. No, I didn't say that, did I?
Well, Tony Page, the owner, he might not let you, but I think Tony Hadley would because he's got nothing to lose.
I'll let you do anything. Do you know what I love about old cars and stuff? You know that smell, that kind of old leather smell. Beautiful. That takes you back to your childhood and everything else.
Let's go and sit down and we'll meet the owner of these cars. His name's Tony Page, and we'll speak to him in just a second.
This is Stars, Cars, Guitars with Tony Hadley, Jim Cregan, and Alex Dyke.
We're outside in the English countryside. I'd like to tell you where we are, but I can't because our guest this week, guys, is worth a fortune in second-hand motors. He's Tony Page. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Alex.
Thank you very much for inviting us around to your beautiful home. The reason we're here is we love our cars, and you've got some beauts. How many vehicles do you own?
Can I just say more than one? Does that cover it? No, I've got in the region of 70 or 80 cars.
Wow.
And indeed 70 or 80 motorbikes, so we do like them.
And you've got scooters, motorbikes, tractors. What is it with tractors? They're not sexy. They're not rock and roll.
Well, they exist, don't they? They're of a time. They're history, aren't they? We like history.
But the reason we're here today, I'm so excited about this, is because you have Arthur Daley's Daimler, and you've also got Terry McCann's Capri. I'm just so envious. How did you get the cars?
The cars were bought from auction, I think back in about 2016. It's the first time the cars were actually put together, and I approached the auction, and the only condition was that I needed to buy both of them because I wanted the two as a set, and that's what we eventually done.
And you were quite fortunate that both of the cars came up at the same time from different owners into the same auction, yeah?
That's right. I believe it was different owners at the time, and I think it was creative marketing by the auction group, so fair play to them. But we did make record prices for a Daimler and a Capri at the time.
Now, Jim Cregan, Minder starts on British TV in 1979. By then, you're spending a lot of time in America, so maybe you missed out on the huge buzz that Tony and I would have enjoyed from Minder on ITV. Were you that aware of it before you went? But didn't you hang out with Dennis?
Yeah, Linda Lewis, with whom I was married, I think, at the time, knew Dennis from some show she'd done, and he was a singer, a songwriter, wasn't he? And I think we went to one of his gigs when he was playing somewhere near where we lived in Surrey. And he would come around the house and hang out. He was actually he is a delightful guy. Minder, yeah, I knew of it. I think it had started before I moved to America in 1980, but I was going there all the time from 1976 when I first joined the Rod Stewart group. So, yeah, I thought it was a great show. It was brilliant. And I'm very excited that I'm going to get a chance to get in one of those cars, I hope. And if we could just get Tony to look the other way, we'll have it off down the road.
Now, Tony Hadley, I'm hoping that you're as excited about Minder as I am. Was it a big deal round at your house?
I mean, it's like London. It's kind of that. It was a crazy, crazy show. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. And I knew Dennis from back in 1979, 1980 and stuff. Yeah, he was a really good guy because he used to do different things at the BBC, and my first wife worked for the BBC and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, he was a real top bloke, actually, really good guy. And I met him, over the years and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just funny, wasn't it? It was just like real comedy. Just great TV.
So well written. For me, it would be an appointment to watch every Wednesday at 9. I guess that was tougher for you if you were on the road and you may have had a video recorder, but I suppose you would have missed out on a lot of those great moments because you were always on the road.
Yeah, you do miss out on a lot. I mean, that's the thing. But by being in this music business, you miss out not TV shows, but you miss family, anniversaries, weddings, bar mitzvahs. You miss out on everything. With something like Minder, that would have been recorded on VHS,
Philips VHS,
or Betamax. We had a Betamax machine.
Did you?
Yeah.
That was posh, wasn't it? That was posh.
Well, apparently that was a better picture quality, but no one really went. Not many people went with the Betamax.
But no, so we would catch up on that. Yeah.
Don't you find that the mark of a good show is if it's Friends, you want to drink at Central Perk. If it's Minder, you want to be in the Winchester.
You do.
And I wanted to be in the Winchester.
Yeah.
Did you?
I wanted to be. Well, the Winchester reminds me of the Conservative club that my granddad used to go to on Argyle Square, just round the back of King's Cross. And none of them voted Conservative, but it was cheap drinks.
Yeah, the same with my family. Exactly the same.
And would you watch parts of London that Minder was filmed in and think, I know where that is?
Yeah, you do that with every TV show. I love watching some of those old 60s films. There's a film starring Max Bygraves, want to tell you a story. Yeah. Max Bygraves, and he's literally driving around Percy Circus, where my mum, literally, her house was on the corner. And it was, and in those days in London, all the buildings were painted brown. So they didn't have to repaint them so often. Now they're all nice and white and look clean and lovely. But back in the 60s, everything was painted horrible brown. But I love all those old shots of London in those days. Before you had the Shard and all that business, and London's changed so much. But Minder's top, loved it.
And you're like me, you're a Jag man. That's a Daimler. Did you ever have one like Arthur?
I had the Jaguar equivalent of the Daimler. I had 3 of them. I loved it. My first one was a cobalt blue V12. XJ6. XJ6. And it absolutely fantastic. And then got concertinaed by a chicken lorry.
Ouch.
While I was asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that was the end of that. It was all, it was all bent up and everything else. But I had two after that, and brilliant cars. In fact, after seeing that, I'm sort of tempted to. I think I might purchase
You got
one.
a spare? You got a spare one?
I bet he's got.
Might be able to do a
loads.
bit of a deal.
Yeah, you can have a bit of a deal on that one if you like, Tone.
Imagine that. Tony Hadley and Arthur Daley's Daimler.
I like it.
Now there's a...
You couldn't make it up.
No.
This is Stars, Cars, Guitars with Tony Hadley, Jim Cregan, and Alex Dyke. My name is Red Pepper, and don't I have a lovely voice?
We're going to talk about the Capri in a minute, but before we do, Dennis Waterman knows you've got those cars. So what's the story with you and Dennis getting together? What happened?
Dennis, as you probably know now, lives in a place in Spain in a quite exclusive club, which I also attend. I had a friend of ours get us to meet in a bar, which Dennis did. After they treated him to a round of golf, I think he was bribed slightly before we got there, and it was agreed that I had to buy the drinks all afternoon, but that wasn't too much of a problem. Nice guy, Dennis, but in fairness, Dennis has moved on from Minder a little bit now. I spoke about the car, and one of his comments was, Tony, he said, that was a prop in 1979. He said, when we shook hands over the bonnet, and we have moved on,
Yeah.
And I think he regards everyone I speak to says, that's Terry's Capri. That's the first thing. I even call the Capri Terry by reference.
Of course.
But Dennis he wanted to talk more about new tricks and the Sweeney and
Yeah.
Minder, and that was past for him now,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He didn't get a lot of conversation. He was lovely to speak to, and it was an honour to be in his presence, and like you say, great guy. But he didn't start telling me about the car or what he'd done in the car or anything like that. It was more into what he's doing, his latest.
Yeah, I mean, New Tricks is great, and the Sweeney. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got to be honest.
loads of Granadas in the Sweeney, 3 litre Granadas. Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I'd be a little bit disappointed. I suppose people get fed up with it, but I'd be a little bit disappointed if I was with him and he didn't want to talk about the Sweeney and Minder. But would you ever get fed up with talking about the Rod Stewart band?
No, not really, no. I mean, it's a huge part of my heritage, and when people don't necessarily want to hear, what I was doing, first of all, they might not want to hear what I'm doing now, and they might not want to hear what I was doing when I was 14. But yes, that's what you're known for.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I've seen artists, and we've all seen artists that have come on and said, I'm doing my new album in its entirety.
Yeah.
Entirety. Yeah. You try saying that when you've had a Coke. And I'm not doing any of my old hits. And it's like, and the audience is like, what? And it's absolute suicide.
It
really
is.
is.
Yeah, it's a really bad plan.
Because you can't deny your past. I mean, people say to me, do I get bored singing True, Go Through the Barricades, cut long story short? No, I don't, because every audience is a different audience. Mm-hmm. Every reaction is going to be slightly different. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a couple there that when you sing Through the Barricades, for instance, you see it, like hug each other. One of the saddest things that we can be sad on this program.
We can be sad, we can be happy.
But one of the most emotional things I saw, I was singing Through the Barricades, and for me, it's my favourite song that Spandau ever did. Mm. And there was a man standing there with his sort of 8-year-old daughter in his arms, with a placard saying, "We miss you, mummy." Oh, wow! I couldn't look there for the rest of the gig. I mean, I was
choked you up.
Yeah, I was choked up, and so. It's not until you see things like that you realise what those songs mean to people. They're little time capsules. Yeah. And if you deny them that, I think you're a real fool. And I mean,
I agree entirely. I think
music's different from TV, I suppose,
Absolutely
but there's an emotional attachment to things like Minder. We can't help it.
Did you know when you recorded Through the Barricades? Yeah. Did you know from that moment on that I'm either never going to beat this, and hopefully you probably didn't think that, or this is the greatest thing I've done so far, or this song is special to me? Did you know, or was it a grower?
Well, I knew it was because it was the first song that we performed that actually told a bit of a story. It wasn't just kind of weird lyrics and stuff like that. It actually told a story, a Romeo and Juliet type story. And so we all knew it was really, really important, and we recorded it in Musicland Studios in Munich, where Freddie and all the boys recorded. Loads of people recorded there. And I went in to do the vocals, and all the boys in the band and the producer and everything were all in there and going, "Tone, this is really important, this song. This is a different song for us." And I went, "Yeah, all right, guys." And they kept on going on. And I started to sing it. I just wasn't singing it right. And they were going, "Look, can you drop in on this bit? That's not right, that you're not singing." And in the end, I lost it. I don't lose it very often, but when I do, you know. And I went, listen, I'm not singing today. That's it. I want none of you in the studio next time I'm going to sing this song. I will go away. Maybe I didn't know it well enough. I don't know. And then I came back, just me and the producer, and we did it 2, 3, 4 takes, and that was it, done.
It's a great song. I
it's a brilliant song,
really love it. But do you find that in order to deliver a great vocal, you have to get inside the song?
Absolutely.
And if you don't get inside the song, no matter how well you sing it, the emotion is not conveyed somehow. It misses that one extra step, which is when you really believe in and you're caught in the moment of what the song means. Even if it's not a perfect performance, the intent inside your heart comes across, and that's the convincing thing.
I think you're right. I think there's certain singers that you have to sing it with an intensity. You have to get into the lyric, and even if the lyrics are all kind of a bit mad and crazy, you have to kind of put your head right into the song, and then deliver that performance. And it's all about performance. Jim, you're right. I mean, sometimes it might not be a perfect line, but it's just got that, it's something special about it. And they're the ones you look for,
Yeah, you can tell if you're, like I've worked a lot as a producer, and part of my job is to get the singer to the point where they can deliver it in a way that it actually gives you goosebumps. And there's this one line made only the tiniest bit of difference, but that one has it and this one doesn't. It's bizarre.
I worked with Ron Neverson in America. He produced Ron, Mr. LA, Mr. Quafford hair, and hey, you've a son, brilliant. And he worked with Hart, and he was telling us a story. I think it was, alone I'll always get by on my own. And the singer, she had a cold, and she I can't sing today, I can't sing. And he said, no, come on, we've got to do it. And there's one bit in the song, I'm sure it's Alone, where her voice breaks because she had a bad cold. And she hated it, and he insisted that he kept it. But what happened with her voice created this moment of emotion, which was quite incredible. And she, to this day, I don't think she likes that bit. But it was brilliant, and he was right to keep that in.
There's a somewhat similar story when the Stewart Band did MTV Unplugged, and Rod sang Have I Told You Lately That I Love You? Which is a really beautiful song. And he was singing it to Rachel Hunter, who was his wife, and she was in the audience. And he was doing this really great job. And as he got to the end, he started to cry, and his voice broke. And we were all caught in this moment with him, because we could feel the emotion and the intensity of the emotion as he sang to his wife. And when the song was finished, he turned and said, when the show's over, we'll have to do that again. And we all went, no, you're kidding. No. And he went, no, I mean, I'm crying on camera. And we said, no, you don't. And
that makes it real.
And it was a number one record.
Emotional,
From that performance was the number one.
Yeah, I think you've got to capture that emotion and everything else. And going back to the TV shows and stuff, those shows mean so much to so many people, Minder, Sweeney, and New Tricks, love New Tricks, but they take, and that's what songs do, and TV takes you back to a moment where you're sitting with your mum and dad and a black and white TV, or if you're lucky you had colour, and watching those old shows, and it just takes you back to a moment, and that's special.
I was going to ask Tony about, when he sits in those cars, do you get any kind of connection from, realising this was the car? When you drive that, do you have a moment of that?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that's why you do collect these things, isn't it?
Okay.
And it doesn't, not because of the fame, it's also the car itself.
Yeah.
Then if you can add the fame to the car, obviously it doubles in that heritage that you can strive from it, doesn't it?
Yes.
I have to say, they are in beautiful condition. Stunning examples, they really are.
I'm that good looking when I'm that old.
You are that old. Hey, shut up. Mate, you lived in LA for 20 years. You know where you can go for a nip and a tuck.
Well, if you have as many makeovers as that car, Jim, you might be all right.
I've got to
cruel. You're very cruel, you lot.
I've got to ask you,
fair.
Out of the Daimler and the Capri, which do you prefer, Tony?
Technically, I'm a Ford guy, so the Capri came favourable. But I've grown more in love with the Daimler, if you like, but purely I got introduced to Penny Cole, George Cole's wife, been to see her. In fact, even went to a late funeral. So the Daimler's now got more emotion to my housekeeping of it than Terry's Capri, if you like. And indeed, Terry was, that was the car, a little bit dismissive now, which is, in fairness, if I burnt the car or scrapped it or something, that's a great piece of Terry's life
piece
gone.
of history.
Or Dennis Waltman's life gone. Because Terry's gone, isn't he? There's not a lot else left.
I'll tell you what, Tony, could you do me a favour? Could you go and get the hat and the coat for us?
Oh, most definitely. I can't wear it, though. George was a little bit smaller than me.
So this is Arthur Daley's original coat from the series and his hat. Now, Tony, was this one in every series or did he get through loads of these?
This is the one that came from his wife that she put into an auction. So I believe it was the one he always wore, but I don't know if there's another one too, to be honest with you.
All right. And the very famous Arthur
Trilby.
Daley hat?
Yeah, that's the Trilby they always wore.
The Trilby. Now, out of me, Jim and Tony, who do you think's going to fit that best?
Jim. I think I was a bit taller than George.
Yeah, I think Jim would probably be the
best shot,
the
It
best
might,
shot.
not, it might not go round him, though.
Shut up. That's not nice.
Could we try it on?
I think you should try it on. Then we can all laugh at you first. I think that's got to be plan A.
OK. This is a big moment for me.
Come on, mate. Don't put your hands in the pockets because they've got mothballs in there.
It's an Austin Reed.
Is it Austin Reed? Good. I got an
That is
Austin
good.
Reed jacket.
And that's,
very nice.
that's camel, isn't it? Or is it cashmere?
That's actually too big for you.
Too big for me.
Yeah.
Jim, you might be in with a chance.
Yeah.
You may be interested to know I've got a very big head.
You not put your hands in the pocket.
He's right. There are mothballs in the pocket. How much do you reckon this coat is worth?
It depends the day I want to sell it, doesn't it? In auction, they valued it between £800 and £1,200. My one and only bid in the auction was £10,000.
What?
Plus commissions, Tone, so it made it £11,800 when I walked out of it.
Wow. I'm sort of, slightly gobsmacked.
I could get a pair of shoes for that.
Wow, 11 grand.
There's only the one, isn't there?
There's
It was authentic.
that's true, yeah.
It was catalogued in the auction. It's correct,
Amazing. That's incredible.
This coat is worth Googling. It's like a sand-coloured long Crombie. I'm sure most of you know what Arthur Daley's coat looked like and his famous brown Trilby. And it is definitely very, very comfortable. And it's a real privilege to wear it. I mean, this was, for me, ITV's greatest moment next to the Sweeney for comedy drama. It didn't get much better than this. And I loved Only Fools and Horses, but I don't think Only Fools and Horses has weathered as well and was written. And John Sullivan's very good, but I don't think it was written as well as Minder.
Do you not think?
No. Do you?
Oh, yeah, I do. I love... Only Fools and Horses was brilliant. I mean, I put them in the same sort of category, really.
Yeah, I would
I
too.
think they were equally brilliant. But we agree to differ, dear boy.
And for you, Jim, living in LA, were you into the American comedies? Did you crave British comedy and drama, or were you so busy TV wasn't really on your radar?
Yeah, it's a bit of the latter, I'm afraid. We would finish tour, go off and write, go in the studio, make an album, go on tour. It was an endless cycle, really. But the British sense of humour it's kind of everywhere. That's the thing you notice. For example, I would go into a shop and they'd say, is there anything else I can help you with, sir? After you've bought whatever or thrown something. Anything else I can help you with, sir? And I say, actually, I'm a tiny bit behind with my yacht payments. And they would look at you, like you had three heads, and it would just get no reaction whatsoever, because in general, pretty well wherever you go in Britain, there's somebody's got something witty, annoying, or sarcastic, or funny to say to you. I remember one time when we were in Ireland, we were getting ready to do a gig, and the way that the gigs worked, we'd all be on the same floor in the hotel, and I would know who was next door to me, and like all pre-planned. So Kevin Savagar, who's in the next room, he's still getting dressed. And we would go down to the bar when we were dressed and go to the gig dressed in our stage clothes, which used to cause quite a lot of trouble in the bar because, it wasn't a private bar, it was, open to the public. So I said to Kevin, what would you like to drink? You're not ready, I'll go down and order you a drink. And he said, I don't mind, just get me anything. I thought, mug, what a mug. So I went down to the bar and I thought, I could have creme de menthe with a pint of Guinness, 2 shots of brandy and topped off with a large vodka. I thought, maybe I'll order that. I was thinking all these thoughts in my head as I'm going down. And I go to the barman and I say, so what's the worst possible drink I could order in this bar? And he didn't bat an eyelid, he just looked at me and he went, water.
Water.
So there's comedians everywhere.
Next time on Stars, Cars, Guitars.
But I do think now, what's a complete plonker? I could have been dead.
Yeah.
I was meant to be a responsible adult with children and everything else. And just for a bit of publicity there, I'm in jeans and a T-shirt thinking I'm...
James Dean.
Yeah.
But how much would that be worth today?
$1 million.
Oh,
$1 million.
no,
$1 million.
don't. Ouch.
Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and starscarsguitars.co.uk. Subscribe for more podcast gold. Stars, Cars, Guitars was produced by Tom Stroud.